This week, we're flying home to Melbourne with Malaysia Airlines in business class. But there's a bit of a twist. We'll be flying on their unique ex-Scandinavian Airlines A350. For the untrained eye, you might not notice its Scandinavian origins, but there's one small detail that gives it away. Plus, we'll dive into the story of Kuala Lumpur Airport and why it's good, but not quite great. Alright, welcome back. We're in Bangkok Airport. The main one. I can't pronounce it. What's the name of Bangkok's main airport?
Oh, Simon, you're taking me on a trip to Thailand now. Well, the main airport in Bangkok is called Suvarnabhumi Airport. Quite a mouthful, right? But don't worry.
You know what else is a bit of a mouthful? Flying Malaysian Airlines today. Finally going home. We're going to Kuala Lumpur and then we're off to Melbourne. I got a 8-hour layover in Kuala Lumpur, but that's alright. I was in New York and then I've come to Bangkok for 2 days and now I'm heading back home. So look, I'm just going to try and nap in the nap rooms in Kuala Lumpur.
Jet lag.
Anyway, this is a short first leg. We got, I think it's like a 2-hour flight and then we're off to Melbourne. I've definitely bought way too much stuff on this trip, but it shouldn't be a problem because I'm flying business class and they usually don't say anything. So I'm just going to have a lot of carry on.
Final destination to Melbourne, right?
Yes, Melbourne, yeah. I may be a little late, I don't know. It's 9:37, flight's at 11:05. So we've still got an hour and a half. Security didn't end up taking that long, like 20 minutes maybe. Yeah, so E1's just there, Cathay Lounge is just there. Alright, we're going to Cathay Lounge for like 10 minutes and then I'll go board my flight. They do have a Qatar Lounge here, which has like all the dining and it's ridiculously nice, but it closes at 9 a.m. Can I get that pad thai with prawn?
Yeah.
Thank you. The lounge was alright. What am I talking about? That was a very nice lounge actually. Definitely probably the one to come to. I don't know. The Qatar Lounge is apparently pretty good. Looking good. Has boarding started? Oh, boarding hasn't even started yet. Just a little 737. Look at that, they've just started. This flight is going to be late. I'm bleeding. Cut my finger on my suitcase. It is not the day to be wearing a white t-shirt.
After all, I too was in a dangerous occupation.
I'm a pretty big fan of Malaysia Airlines, if that hasn't been clear from my previous videos. The service and the cabin crew are always fantastic, and this flight upheld that standard. This was on one of their 737s with the newer business class cabin. It's a solid product. They don't have seatback TVs, but they've got these handy phone and tablet holders. There's also Wi-Fi for streaming entertainment. There's tons of legroom. There's a healthy amount of recline. The seat kind of pitches forward too when you recline to really get you comfortable. And they also give you blankets and pillows, which feels a little bit over the top for a 2-hour daytime flight, but hey, I'm not going to complain. There was a full meal service, which was impressive given that this was a short 2-hour flight. I had the salmon pasta, which came with a little side salad and dessert. It was all pretty good. The dessert was a little bit strange. It was a pistachio Thai custard. It's just a little bit unusual. It wasn't very sweet, but I still finished it. And of course, there was the famous Malaysia Airlines peanuts. These are not just peanuts. They're an experience. Perfectly roasted, perfectly salted. Yeah, when I eat these nuts, I'm just in a pure state of bliss. The only real negative, and I can't even really call this a negative, is the USB charging, or at least the USB-A charging. The USB-A port charges at 5 watts. Disgusting, gross. Airlines all should just stop this, especially because this is a new cabin. But I can't complain because can you see that? Just below, there's a USB-C port with 60 watts of charging. Incredible, amazing stuff.
Please clap.
I can't believe that some airlines roll out new cabins in 2024 and don't have at least one fast charging USB port. I mean, now that I think about it, Singapore Airlines had terrible USB charging on all of their planes that I've been on. One up, Malaysia Airlines, incredible stuff. All in all, this was a great flight, and before I knew it, we were touching down in Kuala Lumpur. As I said earlier, I had an 8.5-hour stop in Kuala Lumpur before my flight to Melbourne. I was all messed up with time zones because I was coming back from 3 weeks in the US, so I decided to just sleep in the Malaysia Airlines lounge for most of the time. They have reasonably nice nap rooms, and overall I quite like the lounge. It's very calm, the food is alright, and it's big enough that on all of my visits at least, it's never felt crowded. The showers do suck though. I want to just quickly take a moment to talk about Kuala Lumpur Airport. Right now, it's a bit of a mess, but more broadly, it's never really lived up to its original plans. To understand what went wrong, we need to go back to the early 1990s.
Oh, back in the 90s.
At the time, Malaysia Airlines was at its peak. They were flying all over the world. South America, the US, Europe, Africa, Australia, you name it. Their route network was massive, they were profitable, and they were connecting the world. The future looked bright.
My heyday was the 90s.
At that time, they were operating out of Subang Airport. This is the old Kuala Lumpur Airport. It's still operating today, but only for turboprop flights. We flew out of it last year in another video. Subang wasn't a huge airport, and Malaysia Airlines needed room to grow.
Maybe we need space.
And so in 1993, construction began on Kuala Lumpur International Airport, this new one. And the scale of this project was massive. The site spans 100 square kilometers, making it one of the largest airport sites globally. To put that in perspective, it's 8 times the size of Heathrow and 1.5 times the size of Dallas Fort Worth Airport, which is an already enormous airport. So this site is absolutely massive. The development plans were planned in 3 phases. Phase 1 involved building the main terminal and the satellite terminal. That's a whole issue with the layout, but we'll touch on that later. Phase 2 aimed to expand the capacity of those existing terminals to 35 million passengers annually. And the final phase, which has never really materialized, was supposed to add a second satellite terminal and expand the airport to handle 100 million passengers annually. It was being designed to be one of the world's largest airports. Phase 1 was completed and the airport opened in 1998. Even today, it's a pretty spectacular airport. It's got humongous glass walls, an elegant design, a rainforest enclosure in the satellite terminal. But just as the airport was opening, things began to unravel, especially for Malaysia Airlines. The Asian financial crisis hit in 1997, throwing the regional economies into chaos. Malaysia Airlines went from being a profitable airline to a massively loss-making one. And at the same time, Singapore Airlines was rapidly expanding. Changi Airport's just 300 kilometers to the south, and that was drawing away significant traffic. As a result of all this, Kuala Lumpur Airport never came close to achieving the passenger numbers it was designed for. And on top of this, in the mid-2000s, another factor came into play: Air Asia. Air Asia was established in 1993 and started operating in 1996 as a full-service airline owned by government-owned conglomerate DRB Hicom. The airline was created to compete head-on with Malaysia Airlines, but the timing was just incredibly bad. They launched just before the Asian financial crisis, which decimated the industry and, as we've just learnt, kind of led to the downfall of Malaysia Airlines. They attempted to operate for 5 years, losing millions of dollars in the process. In September of 2001, Tony Fernandez and Kamarudin Merinan purchased the airline for 1 ringgit. As part of the deal, they did have to take on 40 million ringgit worth of debt. In 2002, they went on to relaunch the airline as the low-cost carrier that we all know today. This low-cost carrier thing worked really, really well, and they quickly grew into a major carrier in the region. There was a problem though. This fancy new Kuala Lumpur airport wasn't going to work economically for the airline. The passenger charges were too high, and this was affecting Air Asia's ability to offer ultra-low-cost airfares. They were also growing like crazy. The solution? A shed. A big shed.
What is this little building right here? Is that like a storage shed or something?
In March of 2006, the low-cost carrier terminal was opened at Kuala Lumpur Airport. I happened to transit through this shed 10 years ago and have dug up some old clips. This place was rough. It had no aero bridges, there was basically no air conditioning, there was no train connections. It was clearly a band-aid solution by the airport to cater to Air Asia's remarkable growth. And this growth was remarkable. I struggled to find exact passenger numbers, but from what I could find, I believe Air Asia overtook Malaysia Airlines in passengers carried around 2008 to 2009. The shed was not working at this point. It was a dinky shed versus this beautiful airport terminal. And so the plan changed. Instead of expanding the original airport, adding that second satellite terminal, the Malaysian government built Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2, or as it's now called, just Terminal 2. And to some degree, this is essentially a second airport. It's built next to the original airport, it came with a third runway, it has its own air traffic control tower, AirAsia planes land on that side of the airport, and you can't really see them from the original terminal. I guess to make this point even clearer, I've transited through the original terminal 5 times in the last 12 months, constantly filming out of the window during taxiing and takeoff. I was not able to find a single frame from any of those videos that featured an AirAsia plane. They're just completely segmented to their own side of the airport. This new low-cost terminal is a major improvement from the shed. It has aero bridges, it has shops, it has a rail connection to the city. You can get between the original terminal and this low-cost terminal on a train. So all round it was a great move, but it's definitely not what was in the original plans for the airport. And it feels like a strange move to basically build a second airport instead of expanding the original terminal. Almost an attempt to completely segment the cheap travelers away from what can be seen as the premium option. I think this is also to the detriment of that original terminal. It's kind of dead. There's not much to do during a layover, apart from sleep in the lovely nap rooms, and it feels like if they were able to instead create a mega airport that allowed for a mix of the low-cost carriers and the premium carriers, the whole experience would be significantly better. On the topic of the whole experience, as I said earlier, the original terminal, Terminal 1, is designed with a satellite terminal. It's connected to the main terminal via this train system. But the problem here is, the trains aren't running and they haven't been since March of 2023. Instead, you have to catch a bus, and this is just incredibly inconvenient and a little bit ridiculous. This is a vital part of the airport infrastructure and it's been down for almost 2 years. It's due to start operating again by the end of January 2025, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Anyway, I think Sleepy Simon has finally woken up, so let's get back to that flight to Melbourne.
Wow. I am out of it. Alright, so I was basically completely asleep in the nap room there, in the lounge. I overslept! The flight's at 10:20 p.m. I set an alarm for 9 p.m. I think I slept through it. I woke up, it's 9:30 now. I think boarding started. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi. Over this way.
Thank you.
10A, Mr. Dean.
Yep.
Yeah, Dean.
Thank you.
Yang lebih kecil dibenarkan semasa demonstrasi. Selamat sejahtera dan selamat datang, Tuan.
Impressions of the cabin? It's really nice. Yeah, this is pretty much the same seat as Philippine Airlines, as Qantas. I'm trying to think of the others, but SAS before they went bankrupt and ditched this plane, and now Malaysia Airlines has it. So yeah, it's a pretty good seat. Or at least it was with Philippine Airlines, so I'll test it out. It looks pretty much the same. It's 1-2-1. It alternates between window and aisle window seats. I've got a window seat, so I'm like right next to the window, as you can see. Alright, so they've just brought around the menu, and there's no dinner or something? There's just a dine anytime light bites thing, which you can enjoy anytime throughout the flight up to 2 hours before landing, and then before landing there's breakfast. So you're telling me that there's no dinner? I guess it is 11 o'clock at night, so fair enough? I guess, yeah, time-wise it doesn't really make sense, but a lot of the times, you know, they just do it anyway. Like I took a Malaysian Airlines flight from Auckland to Kuala Lumpur that left at literally like midnight or something, and they served a dinner before or after that. I guess maybe it's the length of the flight too, because this is only a 7-hour flight, so I'm a bit hungry though, because I ate like a late lunch in the lounge, and then I just basically went to sleep in the nap room. I haven't really eaten dinner, so I might be getting one of those snacks. I might try the egg noodles. And because I was napping in the nap room, sleep is not really as big of a priority. The tablecloths are out just for satay. You gotta love Malaysia. Let's just run through what we got. So there's obviously noise cancelling headphones, kind of cheap ones, but you know, a bit better than economy. And then we got the amenity kit. Damn, this is a nice bag. It opens nice and wide.
What?
This is like a very nice toiletry bag. Anyway, we've got socks, an eye mask, dental kit, lip balm, nourishing body cream, refreshing facial mist. I love a facial mist. Usually they're just in the toilet, communal ones, but got your own little personal one with Malaysia Airlines. We like that. Pulse Point rollerball. what? It's a pretty decent amenity kit. Malaysia Airlines, good job. And the bag is super nice. That's one of the nicer bags I've probably ever seen in an amenity kit. Big fan of that bag. Now what in the world is a pulse point roller ball? Okay. I'm not sure where the pulse points are, so I guess we're going to go temple. I'm not sure if it's doing anything for me, but it feels nice. I like it. It's different.
It's unusual. It is.
Thank you. Thank you. This honestly is one of the reasons that I like flying Malaysia Airlines by a mile. Literally these nuts. It's nuts how nuts these nuts are.
I'm bigger than you. I'm higher in the food chain. Get in my belly.
I could literally eat that all day. Can I get the egg noodles?
Yes, but you will have to wait until the seatbelt sign is off.
So we're not getting the egg noodles because the seatbelt sign's on and they can't serve hot beverages or noodles. So I'm going to chicken sandwich instead. Little small, not the most flavorful thing in the world, but the satay was so good that, you know, that couldn't have been good as well. I'm not hungry anymore, so we're good. I can go to sleep. The seatbelt sign's on, but I think I can kind of make up my bed. I've got one more thing than usual. I think this might be a doona, a mattress pad or something. That's definitely a bit nice. Last time I tried Malaysian, it was on the A330 and they didn't have this sort of setup, so... yeah, this is pretty much as I remembered it from when I took that Philippine Airlines flight. It's alright. The footwell is quite constricted, but apart from that, it's long enough. The width isn't too bad.
I've heard you describe yourself this way.
First sort of major thing I've noticed though is that this pillow sucks. This pillow is tiny. It does not support my neck at all. Alright, I'm going to try and get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep and I'll be back with you soon. Peace. Probably got about 3 hours of sleep. They've turned on the lights for breakfast. We've got 2 hours and 25 minutes till Melbourne. That's quite early. It must be a pretty big breakfast. I did sleep like a rock, honestly, so that was pretty good. It's a pretty comfy bed. The mattress pad is really nice. The pillow's definitely not the best. I was sleeping mostly on my back, so I didn't actually notice it that much. One thing I want to quickly talk about is the chargers. USB port here and a USB port here, and then like a normal AC plug. I know. I have my little tester. I can't really get I can't get a shot of it, but I can tell you that you're getting 7.5 watts out of this one, which is okay. So again, I can't actually really get shots of these. It's like really hard to see on the angle. But I think that one's 5. Yeah, that's 5 watts. So I got a 5 watt and a 7.5 watt charger. That's okay. It's not amazing. It would be good to see faster chargers here. But of course, this plane wasn't configured by Malaysia Airlines, so you can't really blame Malaysia Airlines. Come on, SAS, do better. Alright, so checking out the toilet. This is the middle one, so there's that little business class cabin at the back. I'm not sure if I've talked about that yet, but there's a big business class cabin in front and then a little one just before premium economy. This is the one between the 2 business class cabins. It's nice. It's honestly, it's modern, very clean. Got the fancy lights going on. But yeah, apart from that, we've got hand and body lotion. And an eau de toilette. Let's see what the eau de toilette's like. Ooh. Very strong. Very rosy, flowery. It's more of a El Feminino. It's La Feminine. It's time for breakfast. Was it good there? Like, oh, okay. Thank you. Wow. This is a legit multi-course breakfast. So, I generally don't really like marmalade. Like, I wouldn't put it on toast. Marmalade on croissants, that's the best combo. I don't know what it is. Just marmalade and croissants for me. That's it. Thank you. Okay. Look at that. That looks like a dinner to me, but I will happily eat dinner for breakfast. Gravy, potato, asparagus, tomatoes. I think they're like polenta sticks. I'll let you be the judge of this. She's a little bit grey. a little bit cooked to the max.
Yeah, I miss Mom's cooking.
So they're losing marks there because it's well past the point of even being well done. Yeah, okay, maybe steak for breakfast wasn't the go. I love the concept, but just the execution was a bit off this time. But we'll try again next time. And well, actually kind of ironically, the middle of the potato is a bit undercooked. So somehow we've got overcooked, massively overcooked steak and then slightly undercooked potato. Alright, let me talk about the entertainment. Let me talk about the screen, the in-flight entertainment and everything in like under a minute, because it's pretty boring really, let's be honest, but let me just tell you if it's good or not. Yes, it's basically, well, it's interesting, shall we say. Movies? They've got a decent number. They've got 143 movies. It's not an amazing library, but it'll keep you probably entertained for a flight to Europe or something. Where are they lacking? They're super lacking in TV shows. Though they do have that thing where they've got a lot of episodes. So like Friends, they got 19 episodes of Friends. So you can actually like watch a fair amount of a season if you get into it. So that's actually a positive. They got 44 episodes of Young Sheldon. TV shows aren't as good as the movies, but overall the whole system isn't as like deep as say in Emirates or Singapore or someone like that, where they've got so much stuff. We do have tail cams and the forward cams. Let's talk about one thing quickly. Say we pick a movie, let's pick Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? Okay, this is really annoying. They play these ads. Here's my point. And it was the same on Philippine Airlines, and this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen on an in-flight entertainment system. You can drag, right? Do you see how like instant it is? You can drag to any point and it instantly, there's no loading. I'm not going to pretend to know how these systems work. It's set up in such a way where it's like the streaming is so instant. Incredible. That's pretty much it. It's not good, but it's not terrible. I'm in the sun. Okay, two things, quickly. Two things. My name is Simon Dean. I've got two first names. One of the cabin crew, the guy that's been like serving me most of the time, he saw my passport and my boarding pass, and it's obviously like Simon Dean. I think it's Dean Simon, last name first and then first name. But I think he just got confused because for about 60% of the flight he's been calling me Dean, and then occasionally he'll say Mr. Dean. But I think like he's not sure, so that's just funny. I don't mind. But anyway, yeah, so they call you by your name and everything. It's great service, especially in business class, obviously. Second point, so this is obviously an ex-SAS Scandinavian Airlines plane. This is like the cabin's all set out for them. They've replaced, obviously, you can't see it because I've got the mattress pad on, but they've replaced all of the like little printed headboard things that say Malaysian Airlines or SAS. So you can't see that it's SAS anywhere, and they've repainted the plane and everything. So the story is that this was a leased plane by SAS, and then they obviously were going into bankruptcy. When they went into bankruptcy protection, I think they could just end all the leases legally. So they handed back a whole bunch of planes to the lessors, and Malaysia Airlines kind of desperately needs new planes at the moment, and so they picked up this plane on a lease, but they haven't done anything to the interior on it, just because the cost would be ridiculous, I think. And actually the interior is pretty nice. Obviously the economy seats, it's 333 back there, and then you've got there's actually a little premium economy cabin, but Malaysia Airlines doesn't sell premium economy. So I think the deal is if you're flying economy and you get lucky, or maybe you got status or something, you can select a premium economy seat on a economy ticket. Anyway, there is one sign that it was an SAS plane. If we go to Wi-Fi, can you see that? One of the options, the only option is SAS Wi-Fi. I'm going to click on it. Have they not renamed the Wi-Fi? Oh. So when you load it up, you get internal server error 500, but that's the only real obvious remnant that it's an SAS plane. You'd think they'd just turn off the Wi-Fi, but anyway, that's funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Melbourne Airport. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed that video. Check out flightformula.com. Go subscribe to Wine Tracker Plus. It's a tool I made that sends you alerts for great Qantas wine deals. Sometimes the deals are so good that it can make sense to buy wine just for the points. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.
Simon? Is that Simon?
What's Simon?